Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Austin, and it is my pleasure to bring quality programs to all of you. I am excited, yes, again, with another amazing speaker. I can't tell you how many people are on this platform this year. I am so honored and privileged to have such amazing and talented and intelligent individuals on this podcast this season. So please stay tuned and listen to this segment, as well as visit all of the pages and listen to all of the podcasts that are posted on this website this year. There are tons and tons of good information you won't get anywhere else, so please take advantage of this unique opportunity. Just in case you did not know, the purpose of the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast is not only to share our industry information, but we are encouraging you, the working professional, to enter their line of work. We would also like to take a moment to thank our corporate partners and sponsors, Butler Armstead Consulting Solutions, a family of authors, Human Resource Learning Center, JNF Enterprises, and Women Offering Wealth, along with many of our other business partners and sponsors who is helping to make this event a success. So we got a whole lot to cover today because we have, again, another amazing speaker, and I would like to bring to the podcast Maria Graham. Maria Graham is the CEO of P2P Small Business Consulting and Management Group, and she is also a seasoned healthcare professional with more than 8 years of experience as a pharmacy manager with high-profile organizations. She has a proven track record as a successful leader. She is highly skilled in staff leadership, community outreach, resource management, and health and safety requirements. And over the years, she has used her management and leadership skills to help individuals discover their true passion and turn that passion into profit. So I would like to have everybody continue to read her bio. And let's get into the conversation with Maria. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I would like to know more about you, where you're from, and how did you get into pharmacy?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a great question. Well, I am originally from Savannah, Georgia. I'm born and raised, and pharmacy is it's in my family. My brother's a pharmacist. I have several cousins that are pharmacists, and pretty much it was like I was supposed to be one. My dad's a retired pharmaceutical rep, so I always thought that was my passion. That's what I was supposed to be. I went to a lot of summer programs dealing with pharmacy, and that was the path that was kind of paved out for me. And I followed that path, and then, years later in my pharmacy career, I realized, okay, God is calling me to do something else in addition to pharmacy. But that is how it pretty much started out. I started pharmacy school at Xavier University in Louisiana. And then after Hurricane Katrina in 2005, I actually left there, went to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida, where I finished up my pharmacy school, and I got my doctoral degree there at FAMU. My life is funny because God moves me in different ways. So one thing you can always know about me in business, I'm always going to talk about my Lord. So I'm unapologetic about it. But I realized even that moment where I left one school and went to another school, that was just the beginning of God saying, okay, I'm moving you and I'm positioning you to different places. So after I finished pharmacy school at Florida A&M, I got a job in Charlotte, North Carolina. I work as a pharmacy manager. And I've been here ever since. I met my husband here in Charlotte, and it's just us, and we want a dog. But other than that, it's my husband and myself and my family.
So you want a dog too, okay? That's
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, well, I want to take a step back because you said a lot there, and I kind of want to pick into a little bit of your background. So first of all, I
Yeah.
want to applaud your family history because we don't see a lot of this these days, where you talk about that you have family members who were in pharmacy, and you pretty much just
Mhm.
followed along that line. And I wish that we as minorities would do more of that, but
Right.
unfortunately we do. And I wanted to point that out because I felt that, and really am happy to hear that your family really took on an industry where it carried across generations. And
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
see that. And so I want to applaud your family and yourself for doing that. So I want to also talk about your experience of going to school to become a pharmacist, because I
Mhm.
know that there's some people out there who want to be pharmacists. And just speaking from a career aspect, what were some of the exciting things that you really love about that career, and what motivated you to keep going all the way into your doctorate degree?
Well, I have a passion for people. And as a pharmacist, you have to have a passion and a love for people, or any healthcare professional. You have to have the passion for people. So that's what really attracted me to the industry itself. I love math. I love science. So any teenagers out there listening, if they love math and they love science and doing chemical reactions, I as a kid, my dad used to say, Maria, don't do that. I'm like, but why not? Let me try. Let me see what's gonna make. What am I gonna make from whatever I'm about to put together? But the most exciting thing about my career is pretty much the love of people. I'm able to help someone's grandmother or someone's mother or anyone get to that healthy stage in life. I've been places, even in Charlotte, I've gone to like a basketball game and I've had somebody say, hey, you don't know me, but a couple of years ago that you told me I shouldn't be taking this medication with this medication. And I went back to my doctor and they were like, you're absolutely right. So, that's what makes me happy about being a pharmacist, because we're on the healthcare team, and we're changing lives through medication. One thing people don't really realize as pharmacists, you say, okay, you're standing behind a counter. It's more than that to be a pharmacist. We look at drug interactions, we look at allergies, we look at so many different things, and we help your physician get the best regimen for you. So that was really what led me to really enjoy the pharmacy aspect, just the people, and knowing that I can be of service to people, in not even in my community, but other communities as well. So.
Well, that's a good thing that you pointed out, that you're just more than just standing behind the counter, because many of us go to the local drugstores and we see pharmacists just filling prescriptions, but they don't really understand all the knowledge that you guys have, all of the things that you have to know, all of the different interactions of people that you meet on a daily basis. And so that's one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast, because it really brings to light some of the other things that people do outside of the core job. And so I like
Right, right.
hearing you talk about some of the things that you do outside of pharmacy and some of the other uses, and just the impact that you've given to people just by telling them what they need to know about their medication, which is really awesome. So let's talk
Thank
about this
you.
aha moment. Okay, so you had an aha moment and said the Lord says that you need to do something else. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Aha moment. Well, I think it was a couple of aha years. Pharmacy is it pays well. I'm going to tell you right now, it pays really well. Six-figure earner. Um, but through that time, I felt like there was something I was missing. I love the people, but I felt like there was something else that God was calling me to do. And I'm like, Jesus, help me. Like, there's something else. I'm going to work every day, and I don't know if who's ever listening to this podcast. It could be anyone. But I was going to work every day in this corporate setting, and I felt sad. And I always talk about in my talks, I talk about this sadness behind the six figures. And I put on this great face, and I was loving, going there and loving the people. But then when I stopped talking to the people and I started doing my job again, there was something like, it's something more. It's something more. And so things started to happen where I decided to read a book. I wanted to read a self-development book. And when I said, I'm going to read the book, and I want some people to join me. So I got on Facebook. I asked a couple people, hey, would you like to join me? Well, God, very funny. He was like, okay, you want one person to join you. I got 20 people. So I had 20 people decide to join me and read this book. And they said, let's do this conference call. Let's do whatever. And let's do this thing together. So I read the book, had this conference call, and it started out as what we call the Passion and Profit, Women on the Move. We're an online group of women in business. So it started out with this one book that we read that led to something else. And after we finished the book, my friend says, Maria, I think you don't know what you got yourself into. And I'm like, well, I just want to read a book. That's it. I mean, ask some people to join me. You know, I'm feeling some type of way that God is calling me to do something else. And she says, but you don't really realize that women are now trying to either get you to read their book or they want to join your book club. So it started with that. And at that same time, I started doing this multi-level marketing company. And I decided to do a trade show at my house. I had about 5 ladies in business come to the house at that time, and we decided to, invite all our friends and family to do like a major event, a Christmas event. So at that same time, I did the trade show, and I had the book club. And after the trade show, I had women say, well, when is the next one? And yet again, I'm like, I just want to do one. So with those 2 things there, pretty much God gave me a business or birthed a business from a trade show with 5 women at my house and a book club to lead to this national business that I have. And we have small business expos every year. We've done this year will be our 4th year doing it, where we have women in business come and they just show their products and their services. It's our way to minister to them and minister to the community and get their name out. It really started from a book.
Wow, that's all I can say is wow. And what's amazing is that how you took just a simple thing as reading a book to
Mm-hmm.
birth a whole entire entrepreneur opportunity. And those are the type of things that people really need to hear in our minority community, is that you can take the smallest thing and turn it
Yeah.
into the most biggest thing. I mean, take a look at this podcast. Okay. I didn't think this
Right.
podcast would be this big, but you know what? It's one of those things that I just really enjoy doing and listening to, all of the wonderful things that people are doing. And I'm pretty sure that each and every woman that was there at your event saw a value. They saw a value in what you offered and what you provided, and now you have this huge business. So tell us more about the sadness behind 6 figures, because I know that's one of your topics here on this podcast, and I'm really interested
Yes.
to see how that ties into like your career or and anything else that you're working on. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I found out, you know, and let me say it like this: just because you're making really good money doesn't mean that's your purpose. And I want to repeat that. Just because you're making great money does that mean that you're supposed to be there forever. I love what I do. I love the profession, and so to speak, of the profession. But most people, and I talk to a lot of people in corporate America. A lot of my clients are people from corporate America. Um, it's that you get into this rhythm, and you get into this kind of like this rat wheel, so to speak, and you really find yourself struggling with some practices or whatever, and you're like, you have to, it has to be more than this. And I tell people now, even, I just talked to a lady yesterday, I tell people now, your title does not make you, or it doesn't make you who you are. You work for that title. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. I've worked for my title. I have a doctorate degree. I'm very proud of it. I've worked for it. But that doesn't define who you are at the core of who you are. So when I say the sadness behind the 6 figures, I say that I didn't really know who I was in that position. So you can go to school and do whatever you do and get all your accolades, but if you don't know who you are or who you're supposed to be, you are going to be sad. You're going to be sad because there's no meaning. It's just a rat race you keep on going on. And then within that sadness, I was feeling like I was trying to do something else, and people kept on saying, girl, you're crazy. Why would you want to walk away from 6 figures? Why would you want to do this to pursue passion? But I tell people now, why wouldn't I? If I was able to get to 6 figures doing something that I felt that I was going to get burned out doing, why wouldn't I make more money doing what I'm supposed to do, what I was called to do? And I speak it from a biblical place. in business and in kingdom entrepreneurship, God gives you things. He bursts things in you. Even when Jesus with his disciples, they were fishermen, right? So they left their nets. He said, "Leave your net and come follow me." They were their profession. They were fishermen, but they left what they knew and followed him. And then that catapulted something else in their lives. You see what I'm saying? So I take it from that aspect, as in, yes, six figures is great, but if you're not following the passion and the road that you're supposed to be on, eventually there will be some sadness. Money does not control everything. It's currency we need, but money doesn't control your happiness. So,
Okay.
I started talking about something else, but
No,
yeah,
you're fine. You're fine. I mean, it totally makes sense because I mean, just like what you're saying, and so many others have said on this podcast, is that if you're not doing what you're called to do, then you're definitely going to have some sadness or some disappointments and confusion in your life. I think a lot of people who are on this podcast and people who are listening are now trying to see and actually realizing at this point that you can still work a full-time job and still have your purpose, and you can do both. You
absolutely.
just have to
Yes,
balance your time, and you have to understand your limitations and things of that nature.
yep,
But for the most part, I just think that yes, you definitely have to do what you were designed to do so that you can
yes.
have some sort of balance. And so was that one of the reasons why you just went ahead and just wrote the book and said, okay, I'm just going to get some ladies to sit here and read this information because I think it's important. Was that
Yeah.
part of your reasoning? And then how was their reaction to your book when you first got them together? What was the impact?
Well, because we read a book together. It was more so like, oh, Maria, I have this is because it was a self help book. We read a lot of self help books. I think it was more revelation for them, and knowing what they want in their lives. So I think it was more of a revelation period for them. And just kind of one thing too, I want to kind of back up. And one thing that you just said, you were talking about balance and all. It does require balance. Working a full-time job, trying to be, working to being an entrepreneur, it does require balance. And you have to, set schedules and set parameters. I tell business owners that, because I work with several business owners now, I tell them that have full-time jobs plus are entrepreneurs, and I tell them they have to have that balance. What does your schedule look like? If you're working Monday through Friday, take some time out Monday night to work your business. I don't like to say side hustle. I don't like that, but work your business. Take Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, or whatever you want to do, but balance that out in order for you to really build up your purpose and build up your business to where you eventually, if you want to leave your full-time job, you can. But with the women, I think it was more so self-revelation for them. And we read more books after that. Right now, we're in the season that we're talking about goal setting and what does success look like. So that's what we're talking about now in our group. But we always focus on self-development. In order for you to grow as an entrepreneur, in order for you to grow as an employee, in order for you to be the best manager you need to be, you have to have self-development. That it's
Yeah.
across the board. Yeah, you
Right.
do.
It is an absolute must. That's one of the biggest thing that people need to work on in terms of self-development is
Mhm.
understanding that their limitation, what they're willing to do, not willing to do, and
Mhm.
just accepting that you're going to get a whole lot of no's before you get
Mhm.
yeses. And just
Yes. Yes.
you definitely have
Yes.
to understand the no's will happen. I've gotten tons of no's, but I also got just as many yeses. But
Yes.
it's really just one of those things where you just really have to just understand the whole ramification of what
Mhm.
you're getting yourself into, because I think one of the things in which I think will probably be a good conversation at this point, Maria, is that a lot of people, they try to do their grind. I think that's a new term now for people who work full time and they have a side business. They either call it a side
Mhm.
hustle or grind. It's that it does take time, and I want you to kind of speak to the people who are listening to just talk about, what kind of patience do they really need to have? Because I can tell you that I have to have tons of patience to do
Yes.
what I do. And it's not easy to try to start a business while you're
Hmm.
working full time. And so, from your professional knowledge and experience, what do you say about that?
Patience is the key. Wow. I'm like you. You have to have a lot of patience. I think that people, they, our society paints this picture of fast money or fast entrepreneurship. Yes, some people can go into the business and put one video out and they go viral and everybody buys their stuff. Congratulations. But that's not the average person. So I tell people to have patience and set goals. Set goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself and never despise small beginnings. Never despise small beginnings. Just like you said, you will hear more no's in the beginning, and then you hear more yeses. But then you have to take that no with a grain of salt. No, you might not be ready. No, they might not be ready. No, their vision might not line up with your vision. No, take the no in a different light. So I tell people, have patience and know that you're working towards a goal. If you're trying to get to point, if you're at point A and you're trying to get to point C, still celebrate point B because you've made progress. You're not at point A anymore. You're at point B. So celebrate anything that you have done or that you're doing to grow your business. Celebrate it. I tell people, if I was a chef and I made a piece of chicken and it was the best piece of chicken that I had all year, I'm gonna celebrate that because that's what I'm gonna
I
do.
do the same thing. That's so funny. We do the same thing because any little thing, like you said, any little accomplishment that you make towards your goal, as long as you
Right.
making it and achieving it, you're one step
Yes.
closer to the bigger picture. And I need
Yes.
a lot of people to see the bigger picture. When you're
Mhm.
investing in something to help grow your business, it is bigger than you. It is your future
Yes.
that you're building now. And a lot of
Yes.
people don't see that. And I want our folks to see that when you start off something small, it doesn't matter if you're going for a degree, if you're getting a certification,
Right.
or you're whatever it is that you're trying to do, lose 10 pounds. If you lost 1 pound, okay, have a
Yes.
scoop of ice cream and let it go, okay? Just
Right.
know that you can do it and still get your cake and eat it too. And you can do it. We just need to have that
Yes.
support and belief in yourself. And so I
Yes.
totally agree. And you got me all hyped up, Maria. I'm just telling you because it's just so true. Uh,
Yes.
because a lot of us, we want to have this small business. We want so badly for it to get off the ground, but we're not thinking about the smaller steps to make sure that we're setting a good foundation, and that is the key. So I want to turn
Yes.
the conversation now over to P2P Small Business Consulting. Tell us about
Yes.
your business and this birth business that you've done with all these women that you have in your group. Tell us about what you guys do and what you offer.
Okay. Well, we all come from pretty much corporate America. So we've taken what we learned in corporate America to help the small business owner. Okay. And it's kind of twofold. We have a consulting part and we have a management part. The consulting part, we help you get your business started from A to Z, from concept development to branding to marketing. We show you how to do that. The management part, if people come in, once we consult them, we manage them. We try to get them more exposure. We get them on podcasts like this one. We're just trying to get your name out there because it's a numbers game. The more people that you expose yourself to, the more revenue that you can potentially receive. If that's your goal. So we just try to make sure you're exposed. We help you set goals. We do like a goal setting worksheet every month where we help you come and make what we call SMART goals. And so you can make sure your business grows. We found out the problem is it's easy to start a business for some people. The hard part is to stay in business. So especially as African Americans, I think African American women, we are creating businesses at a number high. But at the same token, a lot of us go out of business. So our company, we strive to make sure you stay in business for the long haul and change your financial income in your household. So that's pretty much P2P in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, one of the
Yeah.
things you said that was really important is that even though we are, and I think I said this on last year too, even though we are millions, in the millions, as far as African American small businesses. A fraction of
Mhm.
that are businesses that are still operational. And
Yeah.
this goes from the micro business to solopreneurs to any type of business that are out there. But people need to understand that, yes, being in business and starting a business are two different things. Once you
Right.
start, you have to keep up the work. And that is where we need to change the mindset of our African American and minority communities, because
Yep.
once you get started, you can't just give up because it gets tough. You can't just give up
Right.
because something is not happening or you're not making money as fast. And I can tell you, it
Right.
it is so true that it takes you 2 years to make money, okay? Because the
Right.
first
Right.
2 years is really just developing your brand, you're changing your strategy
Mhm.
several times, you're trying to get your concepts together, and you are trying to figure out what it is that you're providing to your customer. And if by the time you figure all this out, it has been 2 years, and then you finally making your first dollar. So, and even with
Absolutely.
that, you have to make it bigger and better every single time, and you have to be consistent. And those are some of the key
Absolutely.
things. I'm pretty sure you have some stuff to add to that too, right?
You're right. And one thing too, I tell people, I get on my soapbox about this. You have to invest in your business. Why would someone want to invest in your business and you won't invest in your business? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all the time. Like, if you want your business to grow, you have to invest in your business. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said that. Making sure us as a community understand what it really takes to be a business owner and continue to perfect that. Just like in corporate America, you know how they have like the quarters. We make sure we do metrics for our businesses and quarters, just like in corporate America, because what we do, we take that corporate America field and put it to a small business platform. So we give you quarterly goals, and just like in the corporate entity, sometimes they have to change things, or each year you say, okay, here's another metric, or here we're doing whatever. But corporate America does things really well. Some things they don't, but some things they do really well. So we want to take what they do really well and bring it to that small business sector. You have to continuously develop your business and grow. Don't get so comfortable in your business, because the day that you get comfortable in your business is the first day and the first step that you're going to go bankrupt.
That
So,
is absolutely true. You have to keep it moving, keep it shaking.
yeah.
That's usually
Yeah.
the old
Yeah.
term, like way back when I was young. You got to keep it moving and shaking to keep
Right. Right.
things going on. And yes, it seems like a lot of work when it's just you by yourself. But one of the things I said to the audience when I was on a panel at Money Baltimore was, is that when you first start your business, a lot of people are not going to believe in your dream. They're not going to believe
Right.
and see what you're trying to do. And that, to me, is the most hardest, because you want your family,
Yes.
your spouse, your kids, whoever in your family to support you. And for the most part, they do. But they're not
Hmm.
going to stick their neck out to really get into the weeds with you to help you. So you have to just kind of just
Right.
put that on the back burner and keep moving. And trust me, the right people is going to come in your path. So the more you move out of the way, folks who are not seeing your vision, the quicker the
Right.
people who see your vision is going to come to you. And I've learned that over the last several years, that there are certain people that I had to just say, okay, listen, I love you, but I have to keep this moving,
Yep. Oh my
and just
God.
and
Yes.
just deal with that. You know what I mean, Maria?
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. You're so right. Like, oh my gosh. Yes. It's so many people gonna say, "Girl, no," or "Why are you doing that?" Or you have to. I tell people like this. When people call me and they have that negative energy, I'm pretty sure you do this too. And when they call me and I'm in the depth of my business, I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to do whatever, and they call and they bring negative energy. I'm like, well, girl, I gotta go. It's girl. I
Yeah.
know you. I love to talk to you, but I'm so busy. But I love you and God bless you, and I hope you're doing well. I gotta go, because you don't want that energy to kind of get into you, and you forget why you're doing what you're doing. And
Exactly.
that's why you have to know why you're in business. You have to have a why in business. If
Hmm.
you're only in business to make money, it's not. Honestly, it's not going to last as long as you think it is. You have to. Your why in business has to be bigger than you. Has to be bigger than the paycheck. Because on the days that you don't get paid, you have to know that there's a bigger purpose than that paycheck. That's another thing
Exactly.
too.
And you know what? I'm
Yeah.
just going to add this one last thing and we're going to move to another section is
Okay, go ahead.
just like you have a purpose in life, that why that you're
Mhm.
talking about, just like you have a purpose in life, your business has a
Mhm.
specific purpose. And
Yeah.
so your purpose and your business purpose should be in tandem. It should be tandem.
Mm.
What you're
Mhm.
doing for your business and what you're doing for your life should be in tandem so that you can easily keep focus on what the bigger goal is. And again, just
Okay.
like I think we both said, it is definitely bigger than you because while you might be providing a service to a client,
Mhm.
that client is getting an impact. That life is changed. That person knows something different that they didn't know before, or you have impacted them in some way by providing what you
Mhm.
have. And so when you look at it that way, not only does it impact your customer, but it impacts everyone around them as well. So I
Right.
want people to
Right.
keep that in mind when they start in their business. So Maria, let me ask you,
Mhm.
what other initiatives are you currently working on right now that is part of your business or personal?
Right now we are preparing for our next small business expo. Um, we are trying to develop more business coaches or business managers. I think that there are so many people who have manager skills and love the business, and sometimes they don't have that avenue to um, necessarily get to where they need to go. And they say, I want to be a business manager, I want to do whatever, but I don't know how. So right now, our initiative right now, we are actually in the process of teaching other people how to be business managers. Because if we have more of me and it's like 3 or 4 of us that work together now. But if there's more business managers, then the more businesses can be birthed and the more exposure other people can get. So that's one of our initiatives, Small Business Expo. And then my husband and we are actually getting ready to start doing some videos together. He's quite entertaining himself. So we're going to start doing some videos together and kind of share our life. So
Wow. So
yeah.
where are the expos going to be located?
In Charlotte, North Carolina. Our business expos are in Charlotte. We have had some requests to move, so we're open to move. We're doing Charlotte next, and then we're going to Savannah, Georgia, my hometown, and then we will be moving subsequently after that. But Charlotte is the home base for most of our business expos.
Okay, all right. Well,
Mhm.
definitely make sure that you look at the bottom of Maria's page, guys, to look at the dates of her expo. If you happen to be in the
Mhm.
area, make sure that you check that out and go because networking for your business is necessary. It is definitely
Yes.
necessary for your business. I can't tell you how critical networking is and how important it is for you to meet the right people. And most of the time in business, you have to go where they are. So,
Yes.
speaking of networking, Maria, this is a networking event and people are listening and participating. What do you need for you or your business to thrive?
What do I need? That's a really good question. What do I need for my business to thrive? You know what I need? In order for us to get to that next level, I need more business owners who have the integrity and the dedication and the motivation to move to their passion. And I know it might sound all cliche, but I'm really serious when I say this. I'm looking for people who are looking for me, who are ready to birth something new. Because if we can birth something new in you, then you can inspire someone else to birth something new in them, or you can birth a youth or someone who might not want to go to college or who might not have direction in life, who said, I want to be an entrepreneur. You might birth something in them. So in order for our business to thrive, I'm really looking for some dead on headstrong people that are ready to birth and go to that next level. Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. And you know what, Maria? We all need to be birthed again. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Because
Right.
a
Right.
lot of us, I mean, seriously, a lot of us get into these silos in our business, especially when we're like really small businesses. I know that sometimes as a small business myself, really small, that I get into my silos and I have to kind of come up with new creative things. And a lot of times I don't
Mhm.
have that creativity. So a company like yourself could help me or help any business come up with something new, a strategy, or maybe look at things differently in your business. So I want to encourage everybody who's listening to this podcast that, if you are a small business and you're having trouble focusing on what you're trying to do, or you need help because you're thinking about birthing a new business because you either wrote a book or you have done something in the community that is calling to your purpose, reach out to P2P Small Business Consulting. Reach out directly to Maria. Reach out to me or anyone on this podcast, because again, we're sharing this information not just to talk about our business, but we're also educating you on our industry, our story, and things that you can potentially do in your future that is before you that you probably didn't know existed. And so I want to encourage everybody again to look at all of the pages and check out all of the podcasts. Make sure you vote for your favorite, because we're going to have some prizes too for people who have the best podcasts out there, because we really appreciate our participants. And with that, I want to thank you, Maria, for being on the podcast and sharing with us. And make sure you give me that Expo information so I can put it on your page and everybody can check that out.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.